We were looking for a laid-back comedy show that covers current events, beer reviews, and movie reviews. We couldn't find one, so we made the damn thing ourselves. The Justin in Time Show. Find it wherever you listen to podcasts.
This podcast contains strong language and adult situations and may not be suitable for those who are easily offended.
Welcome to Fuck My Work Life's afternoon break. A quick getaway from your daily grind. Step away from whatever work you're doing, grab your favorite beverage, put your feet up, and enjoy.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Jay, and more importantly, welcome back, fuckers.
Yes, that's right. Welcome back, fuckers. Today we have some special guests with us. We have Karen and Anne, the fabulous sisters from the Sugar Coated Murder podcast. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, so great. Super duper. We're super duper.
It's not like we haven't been chatting for the past half hour.
It's so nice to meet y'all.
You too.
You too.
Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Really, really and truly.
So why don't you tell everyone about your podcast?
Take it away, Sugar.
We do a true crime podcast because now we've been drinking, so give me a break. A true crime podcast, and while we're telling these horrible stories, we bake.
Yeah,
It's so
We do.
wonderful.
We bake.
we bake.
What do you- what do you
We bake
bake?
things.
We bake all kinds of things, cakes and cookies and all things that warm your heart and
Cupcakes and
heal your
bars.
soul while we talk about people ripping each other to shreds.
Yes, we do.
It's good.
It's
Balance.
a great
all about
balance. It's all about the balance.
Yes.
Yeah, spoonful of sugar.
It's so funny because your podcast is about murder, but it brings me so much joy because the two of you, like you could just feel your energy like coming out of my
Sorry, Mama.
Like,
Sorry, Mama.
Sorry, Mama.
Sorry, Mama. Yeah, she just called me 2 days ago, yesterday.
Yesterday.
She called me yesterday, as a matter of fact, that mama of ours.
And what'd she tell you?
She said, Karen Devaney, you are not allowed to say shit on the airwaves. I said, Mama, yes, I am. And she said, I don't think you are. And I said, well, nobody has arrested me yet. She said, well, they might be on their way to get you right now. And she said, I didn't raise you to talk like that. And you are too pretty to speak like that. I said, Mama, I am still pretty even after I said it.
Oh. Well, she may not want to listen to this episode.
No, we won't be
I
telling
can't even
about
tell
this.
her the name of this podcast. Are you kidding me?
There's just no easy way.
There's no way to get around that. It's just one less person
We're
that's going to
talking
listen to
about
us.
a woman in her 80s.
In her 80 bubble.
In her 80 bubble.
Yeah.
With daughters in their 50 bubble who still are required to spell the word suck when we're around her. We cannot say the word. We have to spell it because S-U-C-K-S, not the F, but S-U-C-K is a very bad word in her house.
Yes, we were
Aw.
grounded for that word growing up.
Definitely, yeah, not allowed.
So, and she's our number one fan. So she listens to the episode as soon as it drops.
You introduce her to the podcast with F asterisk asterisk K,
My work life.
and
And
she'll
she's
be
gonna
like,
say-
what is wrong with them? They don't know how to spell?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and the first time y'all say, welcome back, fuckers, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
the phone call.
She'll say, oh, I can't listen to that.
She's like, she'll say, what in God's name are those girls thinking?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a -1 on that listening.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mama.
Sorry, Mama.
My mom got used to it pretty early on. She's just, there's no hope for you. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Well, you would think ours did too, but she has hope that we're going to work out somehow.
She does. She's still holding on to hope after 50-some years.
That's crazy.
Bless her little heart.
So you guys said you had some pretty effed up work stories to share.
Aw, thanks for saying that, because our mama. You want to start, Sugar? Or I can get mine over with really quick.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you go. Yours is good. Yours is juicy.
Ooh.
All right, so I'm going to tell you my work story.
Okay.
Many moons ago, I worked for a company that did small business loans, a commercial lender. And it was the first job I worked in the restaurant business for a long time. And it was the first job I had outside of the restaurant business. So I really thought, wow, this is my big start. I started as the receptionist and worked my way up through the company. But the next step after receptionist was to be the administrative assistant to the executive director.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how they do it in other areas of the world, but when you're in Virginia with the men in their seersucker suits, back in this time, they didn't treat women so nice. So I was more like a maid, I think, maybe a housekeeper type, even.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my responsibilities was he would bring his dirty laundry in to go to the dry cleaners, and I had to take it all out of the bag and inventory it dirty.
Ew.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
Right.
That's not okay. That is not work.
No.
That is that's indentured servantry.
Right.
Yeah.
That's servitude. But that's gross.
Yeah.
That is really gross.
That
That's
was
a lot
one
of skin
job.
cells and DNA going on there, just saying.
So his wife also worked for the company, and she had me help her get ready for a dinner party one day. We had a bunch of important people coming in, and she had me go get everything she needed for this dinner party, the flowers, the food, the seafood, like everything she needed. And my job when I got back to the house, after I picked their daughter up from school and gave her a snack, was to clean and devein shrimp. And I told her, I'm allergic to shrimp. I can't touch it. She said, well, there's some rubber gloves under the sink. Just use rubber gloves.
Oh my God.
Special people.
It's very special.
What part of administrative do these people not understand?
Right?
It's the straightive part.
So the crazy thing about this company is that it was family owned, and then we got bought by a bigger company, which was based out of New York. And those people in New York had this special license through the Small Business Administration. So we could do these Small Business Administration loans where the Small Business Administration would guarantee a certain percentage of the loan. So it wasn't all on us if the loan were to go into default. But my boss's son, who also worked for the company, had worked for a bank prior to coming over and had gotten himself into a little insider trading issue.
A little.
And he ended up, it actually was his dad that got into trouble, but because his dad was older, the son took the fall for him.
Oh my
And
God.
he ended up going to prison for 6 months. And then he came out of prison after 6 months and had an ankle monitor on. And when the deal was he would go and serve the time. But when he got out, he would take over the company again. So,
I mean, why
Silent
not?
plan.
exactly.
Quid pro quo.
Why not?
Exactly. So he comes back, the dad retires, the son takes over the company and buys this great little building in downtown Richmond and opens a bagel shop on the first floor of the building, and our offices were on the second floor. And he brought his cellmate, the guy who looked after him in prison, to run the bagel shop. Right. So
Sounds like a movie.
first he was a
I don't even know where to put the air quotes right now. Like, there's no place to put the air quotes.
Right.
His cellmate.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, he put him in charge, made him the manager, sent him to bagel school, the whole 9 yards. And this guy, while he's waiting for the bagel ship to get built, he's the custodian of sorts, I think. And he just, kind of an ominous, kind of a scary guy. Big, very tall, big,
Tattoos on his
like
face,
who would have been who would have been in prison. Very friendly, but you just felt like you needed to be friendly, but at an arm's distance. And he was all through the offices, all the time, all through the day, whatever. So he gets into this bagel business, and my boss goes out of town on vacation for a couple of weeks, and somebody comes running into my office. And at this time, I had progressed up the chain, and I was a closer, a loan closer, but I happened to be the person who had been in the company the longest that was there. So I was kind of managing the office, and somebody came in and said, "Hey, we've got a problem. There's some hookers at the door downstairs." And I said, "Excuse me."
Never mind. Never mind. I'll take them.
I go downstairs because they're knocking on the door. We kept the door locked when the bagel shop was closed. And of course it was closed for, I'm not even sure why. For some reason, the bagel shop didn't make it. Go figure.
I think it was a front.
They ended up having to close the bagel shop. So the hookers are banging on the door to come in. And I go downstairs and I'm like, "Can I help you?" And they said this guy, the prisoner, cellmate, protector,
Manager,
had called and ordered them, and he had paid. And she gave his name, and I looked at her. She had a boom box, and I mean, she was clearly a hooker.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
And I said, "I'm so sorry, but we can't let you come in. This is a business." And she was like, "Well, he paid. You should let me." And I'm looking all around for him, and he's gone MIA at this point because he knows he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I had to send them away. And then the lady's boss from the hooker company called me.
I think that's called a pimp.
Whoever it was.
Hey,
a hooker
excuse
company.
me.
Or us.
Excuse me. That's a madam.
Oh, sorry.
It was a female. I will say it was a female
madam
that
Good
called.
job, Jay.
Anyway, she was very mad because we wouldn't let her people in, and I said, "I'm sorry that
Let my people in.
this is a business, and we have clients and we have attorneys that are upstairs, and we're trying to close these multi-million-dollar loans, and it's just not appropriate for me to let them into the building." Well, they were there last week at nighttime after y'all were closed.
I think
I'm
he
like,
must have
"Great."
mistakenly put AM instead of PM or
right.
PM instead of AM or something. He got his times mixed up, just like a baby when they're little.
Yeah.
Got his times mixed
Did
up.
That
you
was
ever
quite a-
think about how much money that bagel shop could have made if you were like, okay, how long did he rent you for?
Right.
An hour? Get in the window.
That's right.
Get in the window and twirl bagels
For
on
just
your
an
table.
hour.
Just 1 hour. Just give us. Or you know what? Make yourself useful and get some bagels going. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing as long as we get an hour's worth, right?
Yeah, no, by
So
then
just make
it
some
was
bagels.
closed down. We had lost our franchise.
I
We
don't know
couldn't.
why.
I mean,
I don't know.
It was done. It was so
with
very
hookers in the
older.
window?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. And it was probably maybe 2 or 3 years later. And I will say, the son really was very good to me. I was a single mom, and my ex-mother-in-law was trying to take me to court for grandparents' rights. My son's father didn't feel like he could be a dad, and it was just a bad time. And this guy really looked out for me and made sure I had attorneys and let me borrow against my paycheck. You know, the family was very good for me, good to me personally, but professionally, God, they were a freaking hot mess. A hot mess.
And that's crazy because you had never had a professional job, and yet you still knew that.
Right. And because this guy had been to prison and was a felon, he couldn't have anything to do with that Small Business Administration licensing. So I was actually a vice president of the company. I had signature authority.
Oh, wow.
How does that happen? I have no education. I have no formal background at all. I've just, risen from receptionist to loan closer, and suddenly I'm signature authority and a vice president of the damn company, shooing hookers away at lunchtime.
Who are they going to give it to? The cellmate?
I mean,
the lady who rose from receptionist, or the guy who embezzled $50,000?
I don't know. I can tell you the company didn't make it.
It didn't. That company didn't make it because there was a sleazeball out of Pennsylvania who seemed like a really great Catholic dad of like 6 kids, very wealthy. But he was bringing loans in for us to do left and right for these gas stations up in that Pennsylvania area. Well, it turns out he was fudging the numbers, and he was seeing a lady that worked at a bank on the side, and she was helping fudge some numbers. So it looked like these companies had a lot of working capital, but they didn't have what they said they had on their financial statements. So we lent them the money. They opened their business, and then they couldn't afford to make the loan payments because they had no working capital. They need everything to keep their business running. So it was probably like 15 loans that ended up defaulting. And the guy ended up going to jail, as did his banker lady friend. And we lost our license.
Oh.
So we ended up going under. I did get a very nice severance package from that company.
They treated you really good.
They really did. But I mean, I went through hell with that company.
Yeah.
I did things that are just unspeakable.
And we shall never speak of it again.
There's some things that I haven't even told you. Like the mistresses that called for my boss, not the son, but his dad. And I had to take down voicemail messages.
Oh my God.
I'm like, how do I keep this quiet? I mean, his wife, I'm babysitting his kid. I'm doing dinner parties for his guests.
You're deveining their shrimp,
I'm
for God's
deveining
sake.
their shrimp. Oh my God.
I mean, I know you intimately. I've deveined your shrimp.
I know. Oh, that was an insane.
Hey,
that was
take
an
this message
insane
for
job.
me.
Yeah.
Take this message for me. You tell him I got that pink lacy thing he likes.
I mean, she would be like, I can't wait to see you again,
And I'm,
Bobby.
I'm chewing on it right
That's
now.
gross. And the whole time you're handling his laundry.
Exactly. And now I'm thinking, I really don't want to touch this laundry.
No, that's icky.
No.
Send that to the mistress to take care of.
Exactly. Why am I like, I'm happy to itemize things when they come back from the cleaners, but do I really have to empty your dirty laundry on the floor and write down how many nasty pants you have?
Oh, God.
Come on.
That's not gross.
No.
I mean, it is gross.
It's gross.
It's not good.
It's not good, but I'm a Southern lady, and I just
did it.
did it.
You grin and bear it.
I learned that. I went to nursing school for a short period of time, and you learn when you're in nursing school to grin and bear it. You can get through pretty much anything. I took care of, I don't even know if I can say this. Well, yeah, I can because it's your podcast.
It's a podcast.
Yeah.
It's their podcast.
I took care of a man once when I was in nursing school who had elephantitis of the balls and chronic diarrhea, and every single student had to take care of him. We all got a turn with him. So he would go in to change his sheets, and then he would get this look on his face that he knew exactly what he was doing. And he would poop the bed again, and then you'd have to clean, but it's just hard to clean underneath those big, huge, grape-sized balls.
So how big were they?
The size of grapefruit. They were
Holy
ginormous. They were huge. It was not okay. It was not something a woman and a young girl in her 20s needed to see.
Yeah.
They had her pearls on.
I was inexperienced in such things at that time.
I will clutch my pearls.
I am a lady.
You quit pooping in that bed and making me clean your balls, mister.
Stop making me lift up your grapefruit-sized balls, sir. I just can't do it another time.
Yeah, so that's my and that's only one job, guys. I'll have to come back on another podcast.
Those are boring stories.
I'll have to tell you about my grocery store experience, because that's a real page turner.
That's really true.
So anyway, I feel like I've taken up all the time. Sugar, what you got?
Well, this is going to be really quick. My work story is I worked after college. I didn't even go to my own graduation because I'm a dumbass. And I went up and followed my now husband, who I just adore. I love him peacefully. I love him peacefully.
Maybe we do need another shot. Maybe just one more.
And so I followed him up there, and I got a job in I worked at Merle Norman store. I was doing makeovers. That's what I was doing. And they loved me because my accent, although I could not understand any of those Pennsylvania people and what they said. But this older couple owned the Merle Norman, and their younger daughter, who was probably in her 30s at the time, ran the store. She managed it. And then me and this other girl worked for them doing makeovers. So I was really good at it. But one day we were all at the store, and the man the owner was up on a ladder back in the storeroom doing something, and he had a massive heart attack and fell off the ladder.
Oh no.
And fell face first and like into the carpet. And he had McDonald's for lunch. So I'm just going to say some things maybe repeated themselves. And at the time, my then boyfriend, now husband, was working down at the drugstore at the other end of the mall. So I go trucking down there because I don't know CPR. I'm not putting my mouth on another man's mouth if I'm not dating him. I mean, my mama taught me you don't do that.
She
You don't do it.
No parking.
I am a lady.
I'm a lady, and there's no parking on the dance floor.
That's right.
No, you just don't do that stuff, especially in the light of day. So I ran down and I got him. He was a lifeguard as well as a drugstore worker person. So he runs back and he comes in and he drags the guy. And the guy was like 6'2", not a little guy, drags him by his feet out of the storeroom and flips him over so he can start. What's it called?
It's CPR.
Is it CPR?
You're right on track.
Okay.
You got
I wasn't real sure. Resuscitation.
Right.
So he flips him over. Well, the guy had broken his nose, so there's blood everywhere. There's some McDonald's that had repeated
things.
Some repeated McDonald's. And, my poor now husband's clearing his airway and all that kind of stuff. And he starts CPR on him. And the man, he died.
He died.
Dead as a doornail right there.
Not Mary Kay, but
it was Merle Norman. I hope I didn't say Mary Kay before because it was Merle Norman.
It was Merle Norman.
So the problem is I was so freaked out by it, that in the mornings when I would have to go in and open the store by myself or close the store at night, I was convinced that he was haunting that place.
I'm sure he was.
I was so scared. So scared. And back then, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have like phones with lights on them and stuff. We didn't have that stuff. And I used to have to walk in the front door, go to the back of the storeroom where he died.
Oh, Lord.
And there was still a stain on the floor.
They didn't get Surf Pro in there.
They didn't.
They didn't get like the team that cleans that stuff.
And I used to have to go into the panel and turn all the lights on. And that moment was so terrifying for me. And then at night, if you were there by yourself closing, you had to do the same thing, walk out. And I was scared. I can't tell you how many nights I got a phone call. Karen, did you know you left all the lights on in the store? I'm like, I did? But I knew I did. I was too scared.
Oh, I left them all on?
I feel like somebody came back and turned them back on. I didn't.
I'm telling you, that place is haunted.
That place was black and black and black. It was all dark when I left. So I didn't last another 2 weeks. I felt so horrible because they were going through such a horrible time. I had to quit.
Yeah.
I had to quit.
That needed to be quit. That was a quitting job.
I had to. I mean, I learned a lot of great makeup skills, but seriously, I just couldn't do it. And I felt real bad. So I am the fucker in that story. Because I just left him high and dry.
No.
I couldn't do it. That's okay. God got me because I'll come back on another time and tell you what kind of job replaced that job. And oh my God. God said, yeah, you think you're scared? You have no idea.
Teaser for next season when you guys are coming back on.
Yeah, you're definitely coming back on. We gonna get fuckered.
Yes. They are, yeah.
Well,
we got to be drunk to tell some of these stories.
I know, but I'm scared I'm going to tell too much. I'm going to get a loose tongue and then get sued.
I know. What if I'm asked not to come into that grocery store I work in anymore? We'd like for you to not return.
I know. What if Merle Norman sues me? Merle, leave me alone.
Come on now, Merle.
Merle, you just need to back off.
Come on, Merle, you son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, that guy shouldn't have died at work. That was rude.
That was his fault.
That was rude.
It was
No,
rude.
they should have closed down for a period of time.
And they didn't.
A period of mourning.
They closed one afternoon for us to go to the funeral because we were expected to go to the funeral. And I didn't even like dead people back then. So I had a real hard time with the whole situation.
We're better about dead people now. We don't mind them so much.
Yeah, we don't mind them. But, I hadn't been around a lot of dead people back then.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying.
And we had a tendency to giggle at funerals. So we weren't the best people to say come to funerals because we used to get the giggles.
They had an open casket. It was the first open casket funeral I had ever been to in my life.
For heaven's sake.
And I don't want to see dead people.
No, what is wrong with this?
And I had nightmares. I had PTSD. I would wake up at night and think that dead man was laying on top of me.
Lord have mercy.
It was horrifying. No wonder I had to leave.
Sugar, I am so sorry that you had to take that job up there
I
in
am too.
Yankeeville.
I know. Them Yankees, they didn't understand.
No.
Them damn Yankees.
Okay, so I'm just going to close it out and then we can keep chatting.
Yeah, let's shut
You
this
want.
shit down.
That's staying in.
Sure, you made it. You made the podcast. Right, the only thing they're going to keep.
Yeah, exactly. Shut this shit down.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are definitely going to have you back because it sounds like you've got some more amazing stories to share. So tell everybody where they can find Sugar Coated Murder.
We have social media. We have it. So on Twitter, we are at Sugar Murder because that day I couldn't spell a whole long podcast word, I guess. I don't know what happened. And then on Instagram, we are at Sugar Coated Murder, which is pretty easy. On Facebook, we're at Sugar Coated Murder Podcast. See how it gets longer every time?
Or Sugar Coated Murder Podcast
Fan page. You can ask to be on our fan page. We've never turned anybody away because we cannot get enough friends.
No.
We can't.
And then you could also email us because we do enjoy a good email.
Oh, we love an email.
And that's murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com.
.com. Yes. And, well, I think that's it.
That's it. And usually we just tell people to stay sweet and don't murder because if you kill people,
We will talk about you.
that's what we say.
That's what we say usually. And then we usually do it too. We usually, if you murder people, we're going to talk about you.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty. We're going to get your name
No.
wrong. We're going to call you stupid stuff like baloney face or something. I don't know.
Mayonnaise fudger.
Yes.
Mayonnaise butters.
Yes.
Yes. Or prosecutors.
Prosecutors. Yeah.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yes, everyone go listen to Sugar Coated Murder. It's about murder, but it's also hilarious. So check them out.
It's a funny little show about murder.
It is. And baking, you'll learn how to make some sweet treats.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see you next time.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers.
Oh, don't say that, Sugar. Mama's going to call you.
Lord have mercy.
And if she doesn't, I'm going to tell her.
Oh, don't you dare.
I'm going to rat you out.
Thank you for joining our afternoon break. If you have a workplace story, email it to fmwlpod@gmail.com or call our rant line at 310-818-3273.
Please follow or subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss out on new episodes. And if you're enjoying the show, take a moment to rate and review.
You can find us on all the socials at FMWL Pod. Come say hello and check out all our amazing indie podcast friends. Until next time,
Bye, fuckers.
I don't know about you, but with a busy work schedule, I never have time to sit down and read. Luckily, there's Newsly. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up articles about the most trending topics on the web and reads them to you in a natural human voice. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable, all in one place. You can browse articles from topics you choose and just start playing. Follow specific topics from sports, tech, business, science, or Bitcoin. Newsly will find you the latest articles and read them aloud. They even have digital radio. And do you want to know the best part? They have podcasts. Explore trending podcasts from over 80 countries. And you can find our podcast, Fuck My Work Life, there too. Download and try Newsly for free by visiting www.newsly.me or clicking on the link in our show notes. And be sure to use promo code FWL for a 1-month free premium subscription. Stop scrolling and start listening with Newsly.